Yo, so I want to make a quick video about something. Maybe it's not quick. I don't know. I'm just gonna make a video. So, this is something that went into my story and pictures today. Been pretty active. It's getting way more intense in the story and pictures. Have come up with some new. I like made some things that make what's going on, I think, more obvious. Even to me, well, more obvious. Like the well, it just kind of ties some stuff together that's going on with me. But let me more focus on this exact thing. So I saw this the other day, and it's the Trump, uh, the Trump peace plan, right? And the Trump. It says Jared Kushner unveils Trump's vision for the Middle East and regional transformation. In a recent interview, Jared Kushner, former senior advisor to Donald Trump and architect of the Abraham Accords, revealed plans for expanding the peace agreements. Kushner stated that Saudi Arabia's involvement would be key, with up to 10 additional countries, including Pakistan and Indonesia. In other words, I'm thinking those are um, Islamic countries. And it says expected to join the accords following normalization with Riyadh. Looking forward, Kushner outlined a vision for a unified economic bloc connecting Haifa and Israel to Muscat and Oman, fostering trade, technology, and investment across the region. He highlighted the dramatic modernization efforts in the Gulf states, particularly among the younger generations, as a driving force for peace and prosperity. Now, when I first saw this, the first thing that stuck out in my head was there's a country. This is a peace plan for the Middle East. So a lot of the idea of what happens in Revelation and the Book of Daniel. So to both Jews and Christians, Daniel would be like, "Hey, this is valid for you Jews, right? For the Jews, for you, if you're listening, which you probably are." And to Christians, it's valid because it's the book of Revelation. This is how the Bible ends, and it ties together a bunch of things that are going on. And one of the thoughts is that in the book of Daniel, there's some kind of something brings peace to the region, and the events of Daniel are basically the events of Revelation, and you add in certain events like um, Ezekiel 37 and 38 or 38 and 39, Gog and Magog. That's in 20, which is, I think, when Russia, Persia, in the least it says Persia, so Iran and various nations come and attack Israel all at once. And as they're on their way, Armageddon happens. And Armageddon is the thing from Gog and Magog where it says, like, there's earthquakes and, like, the people just start fighting against each other, like the forces come in to attack Israel, and there's fire from the sky, and like insane storm activity and stuff like that. Yeah, storm activity from the guy, doing lightning stuff out my window. So, I think part of the idea is that a number of prophecies from the Old Testament are all wrapped up together in Revelation. But the key one of those prophecies, at least in my idea, is the book of Daniel, and specifically what it's talking about from Daniel 7 to like Daniel 12. Um, but I do think the previous things have to do with it, because I think some of this has to do with Iran is actually, according to this decree from like Nebuchadnezzar and maybe one of the other emperors. I can't remember if it's both are made by Nebuchadnezzar or if it's there's another like Darius or something. But in any instance, and I could just go look, but I'm already on Revelation on the thing, so we'll look when you check in a second here. But the idea is that there's some kind of like peace that's brought, but it's brought as like it's not really going to be peace. And someone once the peace is like starts and there's a third temple and whatever, that they end the peace very quickly and start the tribulation period starts. So when I saw this, it's like a peace plan. It seems to link together the entire Islamic world. And what really got my attention was Saudi Arabia and then 10 additional countries. Now, in Revelation, we're going to Revelation here. There is a beast empire, right? And that based on it being connected to the false prophet or the beast from the beast from the earth is risen from in the Quran. It's risen by Allah and is speaks for Allah. And my belief is Allah is the government of whoever is exerting the most on the Islamic religion, Sunni Islam, I would even suggest. And that to me would suggest Saudi Arabia because they essentially own the holy sites of Islam. And I think the Beast Empire could be something attached to it that's either using Saudi Arabia or is Saudi. Like it is. I think it's like almost like a Islamic caliphate. That's why it's an empire. It's not just one nation, right? And it's like a new Islamic caliphate. And this beast from the that is risen by the beast from the earth that I'm making the claim is very clearly like so Surah 2782. There's also some stuff that I figured out on this, but no 2782. All right, and I've even made videos about this like 3 years ago, actually almost 1260 days ago, actually. Um, And so I think, by the way, I think something's been attacking me in secret, and I'm in some kind of box that it can't quite get at me completely, but it can harass me, which is exactly what it says in the book of Daniel, and suggests in the in Revelation. But very clearly it says, and when the word is fulfilled concerning them, will bring forth a beast from the earth, will produce a beast from the earth, and it speaks to people, and it does, and Allah has done signs, or it does signs, and so the idea is it works signs, and that's exactly what happens. Like, let's see, uh, and it asks like, did you reject my signs and stuff? Basically, I think the like Allah, like the knockoff. I think it's Baal or like some deity out of the east, like one of the pagan deities in Hinduism or Buddha or something like that. Or I've also thought it's maybe Baal going to the east and then coming back and like essentially obfuscating things. It's a knockoff of Yahweh, and like that's what Baal would want to do. So in any instance, you got this beast from the earth, which is clearly like, okay, it's not an from the earth a beast to face them, right? It couldn't be more obvious that this is a beast from the earth, and it's probably the one spoken about exactly in there. But so this beast makes people follow the beast from the sea, and I think the beast from the sea is some combination uh, of things. Like I saw a beast that was like a leopard, and like let's see, hold on. Maybe this is going to be longer than I thought. I really didn't want this to be that long, but um, I'll even just get kind of quicker to my thing. So this is you got the beast from the sea and whatever, and it has uh, like 10 horns, and the 10 horns I think represent 10 kings, and it's like the emperor of those kings or something. Like whoever's leading it, Satan, or I guess the beast from the sea is the one leading it, and you got here where it talks about the 10 horns are 10 kings who have not been given their royal power, but will have royal authority for a single hour in an association with the beast. And then they lose to, I think, me, like Matthew Ray Wilkins, but it very clearly says the Lord of Lords, King of Kings. And I think the idea is that this is the character You find in Revelation 19 here, but all of this stuff is stuff that if you're the one conquering at the seven churches of Asia, which I've been saying over and over, that it's clearly me at least more than anybody else, that person is called the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. And so that's why I think I'm going to have that. And even the thing where it says on the thigh, I think it's because whatever they've done to me has struck me internally, and they're like trying to rot me on the inside. And if it worked, they basically could snake away power. But if it doesn't, I'm gonna be the Lord of Lords, King of Kings, and the guy on the throne of Yahweh and Jesus, and all these characters are gonna be dead, and they're just a fleeting memory that was, that we can see here, but I mean, whatever, they're gonna be gone. So, but my point with this is that there's 10 additional countries here, so there's like a main empire or a main country that is like, essentially the thing. What I'm suggesting is the head of Islam is Saudi Arabia. I mean, the Mecca is literally in Saudi Arabia, and they kind of lead the moderate um, Islamic world. And I still think they're up to their old tricks as their, the Christmas market incident that just happened, where it was like Saudi national or something. It really seems to me that they're trying to claim as an atheist, and there's just too. It's the story is too convoluted, and uh, you know, even before the dust settled, Saudi Arabia had some kind of thing blaming Germany, like a statement blaming Germany. So it's just too fast. It just seemed like Saudi intelligence is running the guy. But if I had to guess, and they're trying to keep power as much as they can, but it's a secret rebellion. Like here in America, I think there are people being paid off by oil money, rich Arab oil money, to like attacking me, and that's a rebellion in secret, but it's about to be very public, and then that's the 1260-day period. And I think it has to do with someone having a kid, maybe one of the women like Alessandra Ambrosio or something. Someone like she's already raped me, it seems, but like and are using my kids to abuse me. But maybe someone gets her or Anja pregnant, and the whole point is to assert over like, okay, I have children with her, and then they're gonna assert over me or something. I don't know. But it could be some of the other women or one of the other women, and Alessandra isn't that character. Just she's Jezebel and then she dies. So or maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong on that. If she's not, she'll be fine. But probably, I don't know. I don't really like the thing going on with Buck or whatever. But um, or any of the guys. It's just she's still doing it, and it looks like the world is about to literally melt down. So like, the fact that she's still doing it is just a big hint to me that she's probably going to be used in some kind of evil capacity. She's already been used in some kind of evil capacity to hurt me, but it could be worse than it already is. And right, like even one of the things here is like, did I just do this? Hold on. So in my story and pictures here, pull this up. So we got this going on here, but if we go up here a little bit, see how it says Love Leopard, and it's something that I've been making a point about up here, that here about the Beast. And so like Mr. Beast, there just seems to be some people like harassing me in a way where they're trying to like make points towards me or whatever. And the idea that there's this thing that says the beast was like a leopard, and Mr. Beast's thing is like a leopard. And you might think, oh no, that's a tiger, because he even says it's a tiger. Well, tigers aren't what am I trying to say, aren't like locally from the Middle East. So if it's like, it says a resembling a leopard in both Daniel and in Revelation. So in modern Israeli, in modern Hebrew, uh, the word for leopard is also the word for tiger and panther. And in fact, when you type it in, it comes up first as tiger. So um, I think it's some kind of I don't know, is it using Tiger Woods as something? I mean, it could be. But the idea is like, whatever this thing is, I think it's trying to say that it's a tiger and not a leopard. And there's plenty of like, if I pull up the Alessandro Ambrosio mix, right? I think it's probably safe to say that this has something to do with it because, like, you see how the tiger thing. So I think there's some kind of empire, maybe whatever. Like Victoria's Secret been used as some kind of honeypot, and she's been some kind of witch wizard lady that's been stealing my reality from me. And there's not just that. There's cat symbolism where I'm like trolling people because oh, I'm just a little kitty. But also, it looks like I'm the lion of the tribe of Yoda, and there's just a lot of like tiger symbolism, but there's also lion symbolism where it's like I'm just a yawning lion. It's not a roaring lion. That's a yawning lion, and tiger looks cooked. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, there's fox symbolism too as well. There's a lot of symbolism in this, but my whole point with this is that it seems like first of all I'm using music as a method to and making art, and it looks like I've been ahead of this the whole time, even if I'm just some small town boy from here in Houston, Texas, that doesn't know what's going on. Looks like I'm still able to beat this because Yahweh knows what's going on, and Jesus does, and He's over everything. He is the supreme. So where it says I follow Him, I believe in Jesus. Jesus is my Lord. Jesus is Lord, and not just Lord. He's Yahweh, and Yahweh is Lord, and Jesus is Yahweh. So there you go. He's the supreme and Elion, and that might even mean alien because it probably looks to us like he would be an alien or something. But no, it's just Most High. He's not. There's not something that can use a bunch of technology to make it look whatever. But okay, um, that's what they're trying. That's the whole point of this, putting me in some kind of box and harassing me until I give up. But it doesn't look like that. It looks like y'all are about to die on the inside when all of this comes, and then you're gonna die on the outside, and like at the appointed moment. So I'm just waiting for that to happen. But um, let's pop this back up real fast, and then go back to the pictures here. So you can see here in the book of Daniel, it says, "I saw another beast like a leopard." And all these beasts, there's 3 or 4 beasts. There's 3 beasts and then a fourth beast. And the fourth beast is the fourth empire that seems to control everything. And then attached to that are 10 horns. Like there's 3 original horns, and then there's a fourth empire that there's a horn with. Then there's 10 horns attached to that horn, or something like that. I mean, you can see it to the left is the Revelation version of it, and which should give you a little more understanding. And if we go down a little bit, oh wait, no, hold on. And remember, like one of the main bad guys at the end of the Bible is some kind of famous prostitute. I don't know if that's Alessandra or one of these other women that's been harassing me, Beyonce. I mean, I say Beyonce because there's literally it says B B dot the punishment of Babylon. So, and since she's into all sorts of silly bullshit, it's hard to tell with Alessandra what she's into because she's obfuscates things, but it's a lot less hard to tell with Beyonce, and she is into bullshit. So maybe something like that. And since she's here from Houston and maybe has been attacking me for my entire life or something, I mean, it's like whatever. So you have the situation described as it is. You got like this is Revelation. Let me go to the book of Daniel real fast. So what I'm getting at is whatever this peace plan is, it sounds a lot like the Empire, the fourth beast Empire from Revelation, and it could be that Trump and Kushner, or some people here in America, because it seems like a lot of people like the music industry and like the like today I was talking about the NFL. It seems like the NFL is just fake and being used to attack me and like all sorts of things. So I'm trying to I don't want to accuse people where it's not necessary, but it definitely looks like someone's trying to create a fake reality in front of my face. And it's just too obvious with what happened in like football and what's going on with the music stuff. And, it's just people harassing and attacking me, it feels like. And they're willing to go to they're suicidal. They're basically willing to kill themselves to prove whatever point. And they think that they can win that way. But that's how this book just like the whole point is like Yahweh will make up for it to me. Like, but you don't just die if you're doing that. You go into infinite burning torture. So, and like that's the end, and everybody else goes into infinite life because the people that have been stealing away everything is they're gone. But also, what I wanted to say with yeah, see King Darius here, and he ratifies a document making it unalterable as befits the law of the Medes and the Persians, which cannot be revoked. King Darius accordingly signed the document, and then he had to throw Daniel in the lion's den. And then when he gets out, the empire is under Yahweh because the king Darius makes a profession of faith. So this is what Persia to this day is supposed to be, which is why I think the Pahlavis would be actually in charge of Persia, and some fake Islamic empire would not be in charge of Persia anymore, aka the Islamic regime in Iran, the Mullah regime. But King Darius wrote to men of all nations, peoples, languages throughout the world, may peace be with you. I decree in every kingdom of my empire, let all tremble with fear before the God of Daniel, Yahweh. He is the living God. He endures forever. His sovereignty will never be destroyed, and his kingship never ends. He saves, he sets free, and works signs and wonders in the heavens and on earth. He has saved Daniel from the power of the lions. This Daniel flourished in the reign of Dariush, in the reign of Koresh or Cyrus the Persian. So that's my whole point with that. And I think some of this is that as Persia comes back into reality, the Persian Empire can exert back on the fake religion that's going on, and it does seem to be that probably part of this court case either has to do with the court case that where it says a court was held and the books were open. I guess it could be a U.S. military court, or it could be a Israeli court, or it could be a uh, Persian court. I mean, that would make sense. Or it could be any kind of thing like world system court, whatever it is. It's like it as this becomes valid and proves out, and maybe it's already been proving out and we're further into it and I'm just shielded from knowing it because Yahweh is blessing my family and I to not have to go through it as much. But in like the closer you are to me, you probably don't have to go through it as badly. Um because I'm still going through it a little bit because everyone is, because they're trying to take over the world. But and like I live under the American system kind of, but they already used it in a way that if it publicly came out what they're doing in the way that I'm saying, their whole system falls apart. So, but I partially don't think that we're quite there yet because there has to be two witnesses in from Revelation, the two witnesses that go around Jerusalem. I keep saying I think it's like two high ranking Israeli leaders or something that have probably they probably saw what was going on with me and then participated in it for a bit and then realized like, oh, I'm intricately connected to Israel, and if I'm taken out, it takes out actual Israel. And then whatever this empire is, it's gonna kind of provide some kind of peace, but it's not really real peace. And the whole Mark the Beast thing, and the whole world goes into tribulation, and it doesn't feel like we haven't been in tribulation. So imagine how bad it gets if that's the case, right? But you go here and this thing that I'm talking about where it's like, okay, cool, you can see everything. So, I highlighted this in the thing in one of my my most recent picture here. Hold on. Okay, if we go down here, hold on. Any leopard stuff? Any other leopard stuff that I wanted to make a point? I mean, I made some points here. It's in my story and pictures. Uh, it almost feels like AI, like read through the Bible and Strong's Concordance, and it's just a bunch of Arab oil money empowering AI, and that's why the surah that talks about the beast from the earth, when you go and look up leopard, the title of the surah is just the word that's right above leopard. So I mean, it does feel like it's just a powerful AI empowered by rich Arab oil money and all sorts of evil shit trying to like take me out. You know, the thing here, the Son of Man of Daniel 713. Daniel 713. You mean the area code here in Houston? Yeah. Okay. Um. So, most Houstonians would understand 713 being important. So let's see. Let's see. So there's like this one. It basically encompasses what I just said. There's this one that talks about the Hebrew Israelites don't seem to be the real thing. I mean, I do think is like ancient Israelites were white because why would it or like lighter skinned than Jasmine Tokes here? Tokes. Anyway, she's a cutie. Got a nice butt. Look. But okay, I'm just being silly, kind of. Not too silly, but I'm not even like she does have a nice butt, and she is a cutie, and seems to be making points directly at me, and this is the point that I get from it. So okay, you're welcome. Um, but my whole point with this is that like it very clearly differentiates the Ethiopian uh, from the Hebrew, which Jeremiah is, because Jeremiah makes a point that like, well, can an Ethiopian lose his can the leopard can the Ethiopian change his skin or the leopard his spots? And so like he would have just said, can a man change his skin? Or I don't know. He probably wouldn't have said an Ethiopian if it wasn't there was a difference in their skin tone, right? So um, it's not even saying something racist. It's just trying to make a point. However, I just want to also point out this one Arab guy is taunting me on like part of this thing where I think I'm being something's allowing people to harass me, right? And this guy's making points like that are just bad. First of all, calling me racist and shit, and it's like, well, he can try that. I don't think it's gonna work as well as he hoped, but why is it doing this? I don't know. Once Apple made some changes, it just made this doesn't work as well. But I guess you can kind of read it here, right? Islam is Christophobic. It's a cheap knockoff. Blah blah. This guy's trying to call me racist, so I just like, you know, you're racist Islamophobe. It's like none of this shit's gonna work on me, and I'm just gonna embarrass you in front of everybody. But they don't care about being embarrassing because they are already. So I don't know. Um, but okay. So well, I do know. I just described it. They're willing to kill themselves. They don't really give a fuck about being wrong and embarrassed, even if it's going to end them up in the infinite burning torture pit. Though I do think it's ironic that every picture on his thing is like him sucking the dick of some kind of, like, not actually, but he's just like worshiping, as I say here, he's worshiping Western sports and stuff. And it's like, well, Western sports won't work in the world that you guys want because, Islam fucking sucks. So it makes everything suck. It drains the life out of everything. It's linked intricately to death, I think. But okay, so my whole point with all this is that I think that this is starting to be this outline of the regional peace plan. It just seems a lot like what is described from the book of Daniel, and it seems like okay. So there's a let's start with this word. We can even start one thing up. Right? Hold on. The kingdom. Which kingdom? What is generally called the kingdom, right? Okay, just making sure. Is that the empire and I'm Yoda, then that's the actual empire is like Islam? Yeah, I think so actually. Um the fourth beast, probably this Islamic caliphate that's like For some reason, Kushner seems to be floating the idea of it along with Trump. Um, Also, this just seems like intellectual property theft if it's written into the Old Testament and New Testament, but whatever. The fourth beast is set to be a fourth kingdom on Earth, different from all the other kingdoms. Some kind of caliphate that doesn't care about countries or nations. It's just able to work over stuff. I don't think it's the United States. I think the United States is being attacked through absurd amounts of oil money being thrown at people. But I think that money system is about to fall away, but then the beast empire system will be the thing that keeps things going. It will trample the whole earth underfoot and crush it. As for the 10 horns from this kingdom, will rise 10 kings and another after them. I think it's just whatever the leaders of those 10 additional countries are. Notice again, Pakistan and Indonesia are mentioned, so probably all Muslim countries, so they're all probably sultans from wherever because they don't use the word king. Well, Malik or Malik in Arabic, it's a Hebrew word, but okay, king, right? Or Molech, actually, it's the same word. The deity Molech. It's just the word king. Um, so as for the 10 horns from this kingdom, 10 will rise 10 kings and another after them. This one will be different from the previous ones and will go and will bring down 3 kings. So, like the previous kingdoms that exist are going to be destroyed, I think, or like, considerably weakened to the point where they're not really anything. And he's going to speak words against the Most High, against Yahweh, Elion, which that's the word Most High is Elion. It's the supreme. And harass the saints of the Most High. And he will consider changing seasons and the law, and the saints will be put into his power for a time, 2 times. So that's a time is a year, 2 times is 2 years, half a time is a half a year. That's 3.5 years. That's what's described here on this side when it talks about the um, for 42 months, right? That's 3.5 years. So it's the same period of time. Also, it is the a year, twice a year, and half a year, right? Where I think that this is, if they could kill Jesus, they would go back in time and do it, and so they tried to do it, but because of the way that this is all working, it's not letting him. And as long as I believe, it's like manifesting Jesus back into my right hand. I think that's the idea of the seven churches thing. Is like, well, if I'm the guy conquering at the seven church, I'm going to be sitting on the throne, and in my right hand, at my right hand, would be Jesus. So, and so I might look currently like Michael. I might look like this character, but I'm Matthew Wilkins, and yeah. So, and I'm just protected. Is this Mickey? Mickey Mouse? When Mickey Mouse is and Michael, who is like God, and then the answer to that is from Zechariah 12, where it says the house of David, and then who's over the house of David? Jesus. So it's like it seems like a riddle to me, so riddle me this. Who do you think this is? Well, I think it's me. I don't think it's Jesus, but I do think Jesus has something to do with it, right? Whoever's the head of the house of David. Um, but in any instance, I'm on that side, not on the side of Satan thing or whatever. I'm just having to prove a difficult point and talk about this shit that is like, I think a lot of people get like, ooh, chills. It's scary because it's real. Um, but yeah, so and also the one who's to rule the nation with iron scepter, blah blah blah. I mean, I'm assuming some of this is like Jesus could just be my biological child, probably if they're, the things going on with Alessandra Ambrosio, where I got at least 2 kids, maybe with her sister as well, so that's 4. Uh, Fernanda Mota's daughter, 5. I mean, I think I might have a bunch of kids. It seems to me that's the thing, but people are trying to fuck with my head, so I take things with a grain of salt. But it definitely seems like in the least, Alessandra's kids are mine. And then like, do I have a kid with Nikki Dunn or whoever that Mazzy Law? What's her name? I mean, even the Jamie Mazur guy, is it Maz is your is what it's saying? Like, is my daughter Mazzy or whatever? I don't know, but again, it's something it's hard to tell. Is Jack uh, Bieber, Justin Bieber's supposed son, or Haley Bieber's son? Is that actually my kid? Also, I mean, I don't know something. It seems like something weird's going on, or do I? I could just have a bunch of kids, but if that's the case, Jesus could also be my kid, and if Jesus is my kid, everybody who's been fucking with me is in a world of hurt, is what I'm getting at. So, anyway, hold on. So, like, Nikki Dunn there, you see her, and then, like, is it? No. I mean, yeah, I think Andra's my daughter, but I mean, like, actually, but I don't know if she's being mean there or cute, but, she's flicking off the camera, so, hey, honey, love you. Uh, Daddy says he loves you. Hi. Um, this girl could be my daughter, and Madison Lawner. She goes by Mazzy. I don't know. Anyway, she looks like me and Nikki Dunn, so probably my guess is that that was what Nikki Dunn got out of it, or money also. I don't know. I don't know. But if somehow I'm just getting a bunch of women pregnant without trying, like literally, like I can't. I could totally imagine that somehow it if that technology does exist to go back in time, that someone could do that and then get Mary, the mother of Jesus, pregnant. Like, whose semen does that? She's pregnant by the Holy Spirit. Okay, but which, whose DNA, right? I mean, I guess it could just be Holy Spirit, but well, it's the Holy Spirit of Yahweh, and I'm the guy on the throne. I mean, it just could be me. You know what I'm saying? But and then that's what this whole thing is talking about right here. The whole like this period is just like me manifesting that into reality because if that's what the gift of the seven churches is, I'll take it. I mean, that's yeah, like I seem to believe in Jesus more than anybody else that I can think of, or in the least as much as anybody else. So, and I can see all the weird magical shit going on around me, where a bunch of wizards and magicians are trying to make points, and I definitely do feel like see Yahweh riding a swift cloud comes into Egypt. The hearts of the idols of Egypt tremble before him. The hearts of the Egyptians sink within them. Uh, Egypt is going to be demoralized, for I shall confound their wits. They will consult idols and wizards, necromancers, and sorcerers. Yeah. So I just feel like I'm fighting a bunch of wizards and shit. But yeah. Oh, and also that thing that I was saying about Baal being Satan. Yeah. Well, if Baal Zebub is the prince of demons. Well, who do you think the king is? Probably his dad, and his dad is probably also Baal, just like Jesus is Yahweh, and and Yahweh, like Jesus, which means Yahweh is salvation, is Yahweh, and then Yahweh is also Yahweh is Yahweh, and then they have a spirit of Yahweh, and the name Yah is in all their names, so that's something to keep in mind in the least. Um, and like, if the whole Trump Kushner thing here isn't this, well then, just ignore like I wouldn't say ignore what I'm saying, but there is some weird shit going on for sure. And I 100% believe that in the next short period we could be in the period of the tribulation, like that the start of the we could be in that 1260-day period. I think, like, I legitimately believe that could start any day coming up. I've kind of been hinting. I think it starts in the period between now and my birthday. It definitely feels like it, but even right after that, because that would mean that period would be the last 3.5 years of Trump's presidency. So, um, so if this was connected to that, and the fourth beast is the United States of America being used by rich Arab oil money to do this, and it's like paying off a bunch of people, and even the military has been being manipulated by that kind of shit. I mean, I can believe it. So, and I'm in some kind of box here in Houston that, like, I'm being protected by some deeper than the deep state thing, like something. I'm whatever. Um, or I mean by Yahweh, but I think he also just uses things like that in order to, read the Old Testament. It's chock filled with stuff where Yahweh just uses something simple to do what he's talking about. So okay. Anyway, so I did want to bring this up. I don't actually have to keep going, but oh, also I did this whole here I think this is interesting. It's uh and they will go to war against the Lamb, but the Lamb is the Lord of Lords and King of Kings, and he will defeat them, and they will be defeated by his followers. Which this almost sounds like a Marines commercial. The called, the chosen, the Marines. I mean, the faithful, right? Also, Marines are called devil dogs. Probably don't want to be a devil when this is all going down, but okay. And oops. And anything else? Anything else? Anything else? I'm sure there's plenty else that I could bring up, but you got this thing where exactly 1260 days ago was July 10th, and yesterday, and this is from July 10th, and then I also noticed, this is from like a couple days ago, and then oops, and then this is from November 9th, 2021. So, a lot of these things that I'm making these points are exactly 1260 days back. Almost. We're getting to it. It will be during the next 6 months or up between my birthday where this is 1260 days ago. So, and I just think the hats thing is pretty telling. Those are not like super common colors for hats. And then the whole love leopard thing here, it also just felt like Anja trying to get over some points. Oh, and then I thought it was funny because this Arab dude who's like, he's believing in Islam and it's just inherently racist, but he's trying to use this Kebi Lame. Is that how you say his name? I just got on TikTok. I'm late, but he seems funny, but they're trying to use his image to like you're the one talking nonsense with and he's saying he stands with oppressed people, and it's like they're oppressed because they voted into power terrorists who caused them problems. Hold on. Yeah, go for it. Um, and I want the genocide to stop. For it to be a genocide, there has to be negative. Like I believe there's a defined like it being a word. Genocide is a word with a definition. And like Muslims like and Arabs like to revise everything. I'm gonna say Arab Muslims because not all Arabs. There's a lot of Arab Christians that would call this bullshit out, especially because they know that these people are just fucking lying. But genocide means there's like negative population growth, and since October 7th, the population of Gazans has apparently increased. So I don't think that you could even like pretend that it's a genocide. Like they're trying to actually make a serious claim that it's a genocide, and it's like, no, there are actual genocides going on. Gaza just ain't one of them. You know what I'm saying? And so y'all are just taking heavy losses because you're a bunch of liars, and no one's believing your bullshit anymore. And you've caused a bunch of problems here in America and elsewhere in Europe, and like well, all it's done is the right on in most European countries that are now coming into power because people are fucking tired of their lives being disrupted for Palestine, a country that never existed. Just a bunch of Arabs lying, pretending to be the Jews' enemy, the Philistines, and thinking the white people or whoever, wherever, aren't going to know the difference, and and then trying to pretend that they're allies to black people, but Islam enslaves black people. And as I say here, no, I'm calling you delusional because you believe in bullshit. Palestine doesn't exist. The law is a cheap knockoff of Yahweh. Get off social media and do something better with your time. And then he basically just reposts what I said when he says, "I suggest you touch some grass, preferably one near a psychiatric hospital." And I'm like, look, even if I was in Arkham Asylum, I'm fucking less delusional than you. But you can read what it says. But the part where it's I'm mixed race, black and white Texan, but you're a racist Arab, and it autocorrected to rapist when I wrote that. So even the AI is figuring it out at this point, but or just knows. But because rape is allowed in Islam, so is racism and owning black slaves. In fact, like I say here, Islam's the most racist religion that exists, as Muhammad literally owned black slaves, like the Ethiopian named Anjasha. Your bullshit and lies won't work on me, so fuck off. Back to whatever rock you crawled out from under, i.e., the pagan black stone which you kiss to forgive your sins, which Islam has used to replace Jesus. And, it's just reality. So nothing that I wrote there isn't just reality. In fact, when he's saying it's Islamophobic, Islam came around later and is Christphobic and has flipped the script because they're just a bunch of fucking revisionist Arab liars. They're liars, liars, liars. That's why liars get thrown into infinite burning torture. You fucking liars. You're causing problems for everybody on the planet, and you deserve all the pain and torment that you get in this world and the next. God damn, you're shameful. And, all I've learned from this, or like a big thing that I've learned from this, is Arabs don't understand weakness, they understand strength. And so you got to deal with them in strength. And, that's how it is in jail, too. So, yeah. Um, anyway, that's the second time Ethiopians were mentioned today. So I think that Ethiopia probably has something to do with this in a way where it's like, well, there's a lot of Ethiopians that you know know what's up. There's literally Ethiopian Israelis that are like, there's a lot of them. So Ethiopian Jews too. But I think the idea is that, believe in Jesus. You gotta have the Jeremiah 23:5 and 6 guide. There's a lot of things that Judaism doesn't have because it's not the summation, it's not the final revelation of Yahweh's plan, but Christianity is. Because it's just Judaism, it's just what it actually was supposed to be, right? Does that make sense? Because it's just the summation of the things from Judaism. Um, there's a reason he's the first person with written of in history that we still have documentation of that is called a rabbi. And modern Judaism is rabbinical Judaism, and it's just a bunch of different ideas that rabbis have to use as a lens to look at the Old Testament. Okay, well, that is what the New Testament is, except it's the actual Messiah saying what you're actually supposed to believe. So, yeah. Anything else? I mean, I don't need to go forever here. I'm already kind of tired. I still love Alessandra, and like she's treating me like shit, and I think she's beautiful still, and I want her, but I don't need her, and just kind of basically again, as I've said before, she'd have to prove to me that she's me, and it doesn't feel like she's me at this point. It feels like she's like trying to reflect like a mirror, but it's not working anymore. And the whole going around with other men thing is like that's a big obvious like I would never do that to myself. So and since she's the one that bred me without my permission or consent, she's the one that should have the burden of proof to have to prove to me that she's you know me. So I don't think at this point doesn't really seem like it to me, but still very pretty. And I'm not a shithead. I'm just actually powerful internally, and Yahweh is infinitely powerful. And all right, how about this? I have a little strength, as it says in Revelation at the sixth church. I have a little strength. A little strength is probably superhuman to most people. If Yahweh is saying I got a little strength, but yeah, I'm thinking still that she's Jezebel. So, I mean, she has to prove it to me. Anja and Noah have to prove to me. Like, I think a little strength means I'm Superman. That's what it looks like, right? Kal El. Well, that just sounds like the name of any of the angels and whatever. Does that mean I own the Texans? Am I Cal McNair? uh, Am I? Am I Batman and Superman? Okay, and the Joker. Apparently, also Skeletor. Maybe I did post this before Tyrone Magnus post that, but I'm just trying to have fun with some of these concepts. It's not really. Also, the say this the sword sharpened and polished, sharpened for slaughter, polished to flash like lightning, polished only to be wielded, sharpened and polished to fit the slaughterer''s hand. Sounds exactly what this looks like. Even his eye, the left eye, is the one that seems to be glowing. That's my left eye. My right eye is actually opening. I can feel it. I mean, it's like it is not completely comfortable as it's opening because it physically like I can feel that side of my face and I can also feel my leg coming into like it is syncing up more for sure. It's still not there completely, but damn if it didn't feel closer than it ever has before. Um, Anything else? The car thing. A car has driven into a group of people at a Christmas market in Germany, and it's just like, who's driving the car? Associated Press. Like when I heard Lester Holt, even like he repeated the same thing. They don't want to admit that it's like some kind of Muslim extremist because all this shit they've been doing to support Palestine, which doesn't exist, and it's just they're being fooled by Muslims. But I think it's a lot of oil money being poured into these. Even the companies can just be bought off, or the people that run the companies can be bought off. So, um, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out, but it just seems like that's what's going on. Um, Anything else? Yeah, this is what I said to get that one dude pretty inflamed at me saying I'm crazy. So since I'm getting pushback, the dumbest part on his thing is like if you just shut the fuck up, it would probably just be a statement that nobody would see. But now now it's more obvious than ever. Like if they're trying to tell me make me feel crazy for saying it, it's probably reality because it's not that crazy, right? Occam's razor would say it's the simplest answer, and the simplest answer isn't well, he's a rapist from Saudi Arabia, and then he fled to Europe, but then Saudi Arabia wanted him, and then Germany refused, and so somehow Saudi Arabia is in the right here. Get the fuck out of here! It is 100% he's Saudi intelligence, and or as I say here, bonus points. He's Saudi intelligence, and the statement they released is bullshit and misdirection because he's just a Muslim. I mean, what is an atheist going to attack a Christmas market? No, atheists think that this is all there is, this reality. So if you die in it, I mean, I guess there's no bad thing that's going to happen to you. You're just not going to be here, and it's not going to be as comfortable. But whatever. Anyway, I doubt that an atheist would hit a bunch of people and get himself locked up. You know what I'm saying? Like he would either go all the way out, or he would, he's not an atheist. Is my point. He's a Muslim. So he's just lying because they're because as people are watching me and I'm just pulling this shit into pieces, like ripping it apart and making it really obvious. It's just a bunch of people paid off by money. They're and like countries trying to take power and stuff. I think their power is going away, and some of their power comes in keeping people in fear and causing chaos and doing stuff like this, where it's like there's no fucking way this convoluted ass story is actually what's going on. He's just clearly a Muslim from Saudi Arabia that probably Saudi intelligence, and that's what it is. So, do I have anything else? I guess favorite revolution today, 1776, right? I thought this was funny. It's asking communists. When this guy asks all these communists, I think they're in Australia. Which is this a hint about Buck Palmer? But maybe not. Um, in there a Palmerston in New Zealand? Is this bad Stella Maxwell or something? Anyway, communist students are asked which is their, or is this Kiki Palmer or Lavelle Palmer or any Palmer that Arnold Palmer or just fucking around. It could be though. Communist students are asked which is their favorite. Is it Kiki Anja's friend? Is the black slave of Muhammad is Anja Shah? Anja Shah? Anjasha? Anyway, the name Anja is definitely in that name, but I don't know. Communist students are asked what's their favorite revolution. Some say Iran 1979. Others argue it's 1979 Russian Revolution. None of them would want to live in the societies created by those revolutions compared to their cozy university lives in the capital West. And all of them said like, well, I really admire like the you know the fight that the lower classes had to fight the whatever. And it's just like you're part of the upper classes. You're looking at this so askance from the situation, actually, that you don't realize, like, when revolutions happen, many of them, all of them that they said, failed. Other than the 1979 one, which I'm going to argue it failed for the people because look at how most of the actual people in Iran don't like it. So all these people, I mean, they're communists. No communist country has ever worked out in history, and it's not because capitalism. It's because communism doesn't work as an idea for the same reason capitalism has problems. Humans suck. So like human nature is not good. There's a reason also biblically the Bible Christianity is about community, right? And sharing with community. All the things that communists like, other than there's a judge over you that has power over life and death, and if you're causing problems, and you don't just get to do everything that you want and hurt people, which communists they just don't like that there's something in charge. They also want to be they like communism. They just don't want to admit that, like, okay, you're putting the state in charge. Everything that you hate about America here, right, is considerably worse in Russia and China and all the places that you want to talk about or hold up as being exemplars of your ideology. It's all worse in those places. In the least, if it doesn't work out here in America, you're supposed to have legal protection. And ideally, this country is built on freedom, liberty, things that even communists can't really say are problems, right? What, you don't get any freedom, you got to do what the system says? I mean, fuck that. So I'm not a robot, and neither are you, or you might be. And that's why we got to crush you in a like the Terminator in some kind of fucking burning lake, or I mean, melt you down like the fucking T-1000. But okay, I don't have anything else. Is this 1996? What happened in 1996? Did you have a kid, or do you already have other kids besides my kids? That'd be a bummer, but it's like par for the course at this point. Um, the all these girls' names start with an A and end with an A. And one of the things that one of the memes that is in here, it's like, hold on. When the devil can't reach you, he sends a girl whose name ends with A. And then I'm like, okay, but like, all their names end with A and start with A. Damn, I'm really getting it from all sides, huh? Okay, I'm being silly. So it's time to end. There's no reason to keep this going. I'm gonna do some music stuff, but yeah, that's about it. I mean, I think something's up. Let me just cap this off one last time with we'll have Revelation on one side and Daniel on the other. The whole reason I brought the whole reason I brought this up is, and then let's not forget one more time. We shall bring forth a beast from the earth to speak unto them. For mankind didn't believe in our revelations, our signs. And the thing in here, right? Oh, the thing here is that if you go up, the beast can do great signs. This word here in Hebrew, I mean in Greek, ends up being signs. It can do great miracles or signs. So it just directly matches what it says in in the Quran, except it's the bad thing, and this book is older. Like even their book of Revelation, the last book of the New Testament, is 500 years older than the Quran. So that's why I just think it's a bunch of Arab oil money exerting backwards through time uh, on Christianity, on the world and stuff, because they are an ass among Ishmael is an ass among the nations, causing consternation and problems among all peoples. That's why there's going to have to be a strong hand. As it says, they don't see the hand raised against them. So, and I'm going to suggest that hand is the right hand of Yahweh, not Allah, Allah, Allah. That's how y'all sound. So, mm, he will consider changing seasons in the law, and the saints will be put into his power for a time, 2 times and a half time. That's 1,260 days. That's why that number is important. But a court will be held. Right? Yes, a court will be held. And his power stripped from him, consumed and utterly destroyed, and sovereignty and kingship and the splendors of all the kingdoms under heaven will be given to the people of the saints of the Most High. His sovereignty is an eternal sovereignty, and every empire will obey him. This is how you know this hasn't already happened, because the whole point is after this, in Revelation in the least, nobody dies anymore. Also, there's extreme, like you would know if Armageddon happened, if Gog and Magog happened. All these things would be really obvious. It explicitly says in Thessalonians, at the part where it's talking about the secret rebellion, don't let anybody fool you that the day of Yahweh has already come, because it has not. Actually, this is the day of the Lord, but the Lord is Yahweh, right? Or the day of Jesus. In any instance, that day has not come. Why? We don't live forever yet. I mean, I personally have faith that I will live forever, but the day that it becomes sealed in existence in history hasn't happened yet. I mean, it's gonna happen. Is my point. It's just that we haven't gotten to the part in where the shit happens in this. That's what I'm trying to. That's what I'm trying to say. Um, and like one thing is, I think people are trying to like make me feel like these guys are trying to make me feel nervous or anxious, or like they're gonna hurt me or something like that. And it's just like, that's what the whole fifth church thing is about. My parents are in their 80s pretty much. I don't have a ton of family that's like close family. I don't have a ton of friends to where I'm worried about them getting hurt. I think Yahweh protects me, and I think he's going to protect me and my family and friends. Anybody close to me, that's why it's like, well, Alessandra and you guys, like, if you are my family and friends and you're not around me when the tribulation happens, you're not gonna make it. I don't think. That would just mean you are Jezebel, so probably you don't even get to the tribulation period. But because the idea is she dies as it's kicking off, I think, as part of the fourth seal thing. And the plague, whatever plague happens, or the pestilence from the fourth seal. But I'm still hopeful it's not Alessandra. I don't hate her. I just think what she's doing is really rapey and evil. But if she can prove she's to me, okay. And like, I don't hate Anja and Noah. I just like, did you rape me and I have children and I like, I love them, but they don't love me. They got like Stockholm syndrome, and they never are gonna love me. And or am I just misreading this? I don't know. Sometimes Anja seems like she's doing, being friendly and loving, but at the same time, sometimes it doesn't feel like that. But I feel like the AI is trying to hint at me something different. So I don't know. Well, I guess we'll see. Um, so yeah, this court case happens, and it says Revelation 12:14, and so let's go. Part of what I'm saying is the day of Yahweh hasn't happened yet, so don't be fooled. 12:14. As soon as the devil found himself thrown down to earth, he sprang in pursuit of the woman, the mother of the male child, but she was given a huge pair of eagle's wings to fly away from the serpent into the desert to a place where she would she was to be looked after for a year and twice a year and a half year. That's 3.5 years, 1,260 days, 42 months. So the serpent vomited water out of his mouth like a river after the woman to sweep her away in the current. But the earth came to her rescue. It opened its mouth and swallowed the river thrown up by the dragon's jaws. Then the dragon was enraged with the woman and went to make war on the rest of her children, that is, all who obeyed God's commandments and bear witness for Jesus. See, so like I think I've been saying like I feel like Alessandra's going to try to get pregnant again because that's what I feel like the Giselle thing is hinting, or maybe the Giselle thing's hinting that Beyonce Giselle Carter Knowles or something is going to get pregnant with some, or already has with some other man, or I don't know. Is Justin Bieber's kid or is the kid Trey Black's kid down there actually Beyonce? It's something. It's something. Someone's having kids in secret, and I can feel it first of all, but I don't know exactly because there's so much magic being thrown at me to obfuscate it. It's like not nauseating. Um, but it's just not working well. But it is obfuscating things, and I think some of it is because they wouldn't act. If I could just see straight through what they were doing, they wouldn't do it. At least not in a timely manner. But if they think they can get away with it, which I'm guessing they did, they would do it. So, something like that. I don't know. I feel like I'll also add this. I feel like this thing, not that thing. Also, the Omega symbol that Superman, like dark side, is coming. I think I might be Yoda, but I think the idea is that you're about to see my dark side, and yeah, or I might be Superman, but you're about to see my dark side or something. Um, Also, I brought this all up as I feel like Andrea Botez looks like Olivia Munn and my kid, but she's probably not, and this is probably just funny, but because she does. Uh, but okay. Um, and then also you got this here. I was saying this the other day. That's why the thing when I saw Sam Shamoon had talked about it, I was like, oh, that's super relevant. But I was even adding in some other religious stuff, and it just seems like Goku here is a knockoff and a way for them to call me a monkey. So okay, whatever. I'm fine with being a monkey. If first of all, if I'm a monkey and I'm clowning y'all, I mean, what does that make y'all? But also here, this like is Qatar. I mean, is that what's putting a bunch of money into this whole Mayhula thing? And then like, what is this fucking name of Gabby? Uh, Gabby Deleuze, Issa Deleuze, and Luan Deleuze's mother, who's one of Alessandra's best friends and who's Anja's best friend's mom, Issa's mom. Is the whole Issa thing from the Quran just because Anja's like choosing to be with her friend instead of me, and so a fake Jesus? No, I'm kidding. That's a joke. Maybe I don't know. Um, it's funny to me. Regardless, hold on. All right, so like I say here, something about Qatar's oil money. I mean, they're just rapist Arabs. Um, not that all rapists, not that all Arabs are, but especially a lot of these people, they are. I mean, they raped and murdered their way across Israel, and nobody gave a fuck. So that just showed me, and they cheered it on. They cheered it on, and Arabs all around the world cheered it on and denied it happened, even though they recorded it. So this is why Ishmael, you are an ass among the nations. Um, but okay, what was the thing that I was doing? Oh, also the kisses thing that they're doing. It just like as I was, like the day afterwards. This is what one of the songs that ended up making it into the Alessandra Ambrosio mix, and it's like it just seems to be describing what's going on with Alessandra, where she's treating me really shittily, like trying to kill whatever. Like probably the only actually loving relationship she'd ever have. Because if you're willing to treat me like this, and I'm still like, I love you, I don't need you, but I want you. Especially because if you're the mother of my children, actually, I'm gonna love my children even if they're your Jezebel and they die and like they aren't considered my children. I'd still like I'm not y'all. You know what I mean? Also, there's this the whole ball thing, right? Ball, right, is just related to football or whatever, or basketball or ball or volleyball or ball. So people are just more into sports than they are fucking having common sense. Because you could have sports in the kingdom of heaven. You can't have sports when the whole world is on fire. So, um, or maybe you can. I don't know. Like, I guess we're about to find out. Oh, hold on. Yeah, so this thing is like I think she looks really uncomfortable. She like looks sad and uncomfortable to me there. And like my point was that when she can't control her environment and when they can't control their environment, it's way more obvious that they're not comfortable. This is difficult for them. She looks sad. I mean, she looks sad, sick, and uncomfortable. I what do I say here? And even the AI also seems to be again like giving me hints. Alessandra and Buck do not look comfortable. They look sick, sad, and afraid, and like everything that I just said. So I like, but it does seem to be suggesting by what they're wearing and like, what he's holding and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know. Is the suggestion that they're gonna have a kid or something like what Giselle's doing? I mean, she's clearly like, if you have a kid within less than 5 months within jumping into a relationship, I mean, it's like okay. Um, I don't know. Is he a male prostitute? That's one of my guesses actually. But which would make him like a dog as described by the Book of Revelation. That's what when it talks about dogs in the Book of Revelation, it's talking about men who take money for sex. Uh, I I believe. Um, so something like that, and so a bunch of men, possibly gay men, are using these women to beat and harass me and abuse down. But if this beast empire takes control, all these gay people are going to die. It's like in Christianity, it's treat your neighbor as you would yourself. In whatever the beast empire thing is, they'll just kill, like, which is probably Islam. They don't they don't like gay people, right? I like going to Pride Parade. I mean, at least the few times that I went. But would I go now? They don't. You guys don't really feel like allies anymore. You feel like playing part in this game of rape and abuse around my reality, and it feels really shitty. And you should feel bad. Um, why? Because people have literally raped me, and you're trying to use the like one of the women that has done it. You're literally using the mother of my children to like abuse me and rot me internally. And it doesn't matter even if it is literally just kisses. It still doesn't feel good. You're still rapist abusers, and that is fact. That is what I'm saying. That is what Yahweh would say. If it's treat people like you would want to be treated, I don't want to be treated like this. And I feel like I'm in some kind of box where I can scream as loud as whatever, but and that's the point is to make it feel hopeless, but I don't feel hopeless. I feel like this. I feel like I'm Superman or something, and I've taken a big hit, and then all of a sudden, hey, look, it's me and Ray. Rayfield, my dad. And then look, I'm whistling and crypto. I mean, Anja Anja shows up, and then Anja, you know, licks my face. She's trying to do a mirror thing or something. I don't know. And then and I'm like, help me, sweetie, crypto. And then she is that the Bitcoin because and that's why it started in 2008 because Anja is the thing. I guess I got bit by a snake, and if I could figure it out, then I get all the coin. But if I don't, I die probably. But anyway, so I'm like, Anja, help me! And then here's me saving a little girl. I don't know if that's Anja or Noah or one of the other one of my other kids. And then maybe that's Noah. I don't know, or one of my other kids. And then yeah, I don't know, just me being Superman, I guess. And then more of Anja dragging me to safety. That would be a nice way for this to go, but I'm still pretty sure that. it's going to end up like this, where I think Alessandra's Jezebel, and I think what's going on is what is going on. So, okay, this is where I'm going to end it because I think that's it. So, you got on both sides what I've talked about. Let me just cap this off one last time with the whole reason I did this is because this post here, it's a peace plan, which, I think even in Daniel, something comes and like proposes some sort of peace plan and then breaks the plan or something. And maybe we can even look here real fast through it. Maybe something like this, right? Or maybe not. Um, like I don't know. I keep talking about Iran, but I don't know if the Pahlavis get in charge. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if that's that. It does seem like they're more probably in line with something better than the Islamic Republic is. But I mean, Islamic Republic, Islamic regime. What is it? Iran? It's definitely not a real republic. But anyway. And also remember, pleads with pleads with Yahweh, right? That's who Daniel pleads with. So that's what that decree is about that Darius made. That's my whole point with that. And then you got the 70 weeks decreed here and blah, 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 right? Though I do think the idea with this has to have already happened because it's talking about the second temple. And this is clearly talking about the second temple. So the anointed prince that was cut off right here, he will be cut off. That means he dies. And then the city and the sanctuary will be destroyed. That happened in like 70 AD. So this has already happened. So this character has to be Jesus. But I think the idea is whatever the thing is, it doesn't want to acknowledge that Jesus had already done this, and it's gonna basically try to repeat it. But since Jesus has already done it, it's like I guess intellectual property, and it belongs to Jesus, and so he gets everything, right? And that's where the court case would decide, nope, everything belongs to Jesus. All the how does it describe this? And therefore to Matthew Ray Wilkins, who in the least is one of the saints of the Most High. I would hope, one of the saints of Yahweh. And so when it says here, court will be held and whatever stripped from him, it definitely says the splendors of all the kingdoms under heaven. So all the nations, like every nation, all their wealth and all their glory and all their stuff comes to me because it was used, I think, to attack me and Jesus instead of whatever, right? And then if it's not, if they're like Christian, whatever, then hey, it's the guy that you're supposed to be saving this for. So, and the idea is like whoever's believing with me, I believe it'll be obvious. But whoever's actually one of the saints of the Most High, like we're getting out of this. Um, if you believe, we're getting out of this. It's not going to be easy, but well, if you have faith, it for certain people, I do think it's going to be hard. I think the idea is the sword is coming on even certain believers. But remember, if you die for the sake of the kingdom, you'll be in the kingdom in the infinite whatever. Oh, is that? Someone setting off fireworks somewhere around here. Yeah, someone is. Um. Anyway, so hey, did I score a TKO? This is a technical knockout, or did I get TK'd by someone whose initial is O or something? I don't know, or T, and I was KO'd. I don't know. I'm just being silly, but not really. I'm kind of trying to make some points that seem to be happening. Um, Okay. What else? Oh, I think the Death Stranding thing where you got the. I did want to point this out. It almost looks like the baby is taunting, right? And I think that right when it says, "While I was looking at these horns, I saw another horn sprouting among them, a little one." I think that's this thing. Three of the original horns were pulled out by the roots to make way for it, and in this horn, I saw eyes like human eyes and a mouth that was full of boasts. So yeah, seems pretty on point to me, right? That's why I'm like, what the fuck, Hideo? But maybe it's helping somehow, and he's like Otacon, or I don't know, Jarvis or something. I don't know. Uh, I'm just taking some guesses here, but that definitely feels like the I've been talking about it, rape baby thing, where it's like, you know, if some wealthy whatever person ended up getting Alessandra pregnant or something to like hurt me, I could totally feel that. Like I'm expecting it at this point. I'm even expecting it could be my kid because sometimes it feels like that's what already Noah and Anja seem to be doing to me if she's flicking off the camera all the time. And I don't know. I don't know. They could be on my side though, and this could be funny to them. But so yeah, uh, and it's like some kind of mecha empire. I mean, by mecha, I mean like a giant fighting robot because it seems to have great iron teeth and like I don't know. It in the past they would have said it was like a dragon, but it sounds like a machine to me. It sounds like I saw a fourth beast. Also, this is what the giant baby from the Matrix is. The Matrix is literally Matrix is the word for womb in the Bible or just in reality. And anything. So that's one of the definitions. But in the Bible, womb, betin, I think, or belly, racham, right, is passion or womb. And then there's like another word that specifically even says matrix. I don't know. It's one of the Strong's Concordance things. I'm not gonna look it up, but I think it's something like that. And so I think that's the Death Stranding thing. Someone's trying to use a baby, like babies and women that I'm connected to abuse me. And like, I was saying a long time ago, I guess 7 years ago, I was like, I think it's Stephanie Houston, but I mean, it could be now. I mean, because she isn't, it'd be like putting her actually, it'd be like them making this into a game. But I really think it's more like, I don't know, probably Alessandra or something like that. Or Anja, I don't know. I could get my daughter pregnant, and that would be even more. Would it be? I don't know. I'm not. At this point, I'm not really worried. Whoever they get pregnant, even if it's someone I don't want them. Well, at this point, it's like I want this over more than I want anything. I'm not even kidding. So if it has to be, it's going to be difficult regardless. At this point, they're all going to be pretty difficult. I think the thing with Alessandra is if it's her, I've very publicly pointed out that like, hey, this is going on. So it becomes a lot harder to pretend if it happens around Alessandra. That would break it into the open very heavily. Uh, Even her having a fake boyfriend, so many people know what's going on that it would just. I think the curtain falls if they do it like that. So I'm thinking it could be Stephanie Houston or I don't know. I'm racking my brain, Beyonce or some shit like that, like someone where like maybe Olivia Munn because she seemed to have already had some kids like that, or I don't know. I don't know. Is one of these women for sure. I just think 7 photos of Taylor. Oh, is it Allison Payton? And that's the whole Taylor thing. I don't know. Something is using people that are connected to me and concepts of like musicians and shit. Something's just attacking at me and making me feel uncomfortable. That's what's going on. Who it is? Who the person that is the fourth beast is going to sprout from or whatever. I don't even know if it's actually a child or if I'm just like misreading this, but I do think it's some kind of like the kid is already connected into the cybernetic world, like is like a cyborg because of all the how things are looking around it and like how everything's looking at it and what it's connected to and what their parents are into, and it's just like I'm kind of like in a cyborg suit, it feels like, where you can literally see the AI correcting what I'm saying and like giving me heads up on stuff in my things, like you can just see it. I'm not writing that. If I recorded it, it would be really obvious. Like let me take one of these things and it might not do it just on this, but maybe it might. I don't know. Every time you see a thing in brackets or parentheses there, it's something that I didn't type that it auto corrected in a very dramatic way. Like there you go. A out. You know what I mean? Like all of a sudden, we're like about. It's like auto correcting this. I didn't change any of this. I didn't. There wasn't a time also where I deleted uh uh, there wasn't a time where I went and like text replace this, but do I have to A out? Hold on. So this is how this looks when I do this. So I just do that about. Notice it didn't autocorrect that time. Though I guess I had a thing. Hold on. Nope. See? There you go. About my and it turns into Mr. And like, it's plausibly deniable, I guess, but it definitely seems like the AI is trying to heads up. Do I have to talk about uh, sometimes it's a little bit like that where it's just minuscule, and sometimes it literally will change like half the sentence, and it's like not something that is where it's going to be like coded into autocorrect. So um, okay, well, it gave you enough of an example where I mean just the little things that it did, but sometimes like I'm saying, it literally will do like an entire sentence is like completely changed around and manipulated. So And by the way, that isn't sarcasm. I do, especially if I want to know are my kids. It's like any of the stuff where I'm talking about manifesting y'all dying. It's like only if y'all are actually Jezebel's, Alessandra's Jezebel, and y'all are being evil. If it's not, it's a curse and it's not going to hit you. But if it is, damn, that's a bummer, huh? But yeah. So otherwise, like I clearly am smitten with my daughter and my son. I'm happy that I have a son and he's good looking and is with a woman that I think is very good looking and who she treats me like poop, it seems, but maybe not. I don't know. Maybe she's the reason that I have a bunch of kids. But even then, it's like, well, don't do the kissy thing. That doesn't make me feel good at all. In fact, that makes me feel terrible. So it's par for the course, though. So at this point, it's not really making that much of a difference. But it's just like, stop. But okay, that's where I'm into this. So this is where I'm into this. This is what this is. This is again the you know here it even says it here, but it's on this one. It has 7 heads, and which I think are the people leading up to the final. Like there's 5 emperors on top of whatever this underground empire is. Then there's the 6th one and the 7th one, or the 5th, 6th, and 7th, or something like that. Or like, what does it say? Hold on. So these are it talks about the 10 horns, and then they have 10 heads marked with blasphemous titles. And then, I can take guesses about that, but I'm not going to right now. There are blasphemous titles in Islam, so it could be something like that. But anyway, the 7 heads are also 7 emperors. 5 of them have already gone. So I think the idea is by the time the 6th one comes, that's the 6th church thing. And that's the 5th church thing that says 5 of them have already gone. At this point, I think is when the emperor comes out of the abyss, and the abyss is what is controlling the empire, or the void is what's controlling the empire from the void from Marvel. But something like that. But the 5th one comes out and it stings people for a little while, and then it can't do that anymore, and that character dies, and then the 6th person comes, and it's the 6th church thing, and the something to do with, or maybe the 6th one to come out is the 5th church, and the 7th uh, one to come out is the 6th church, and the 8 is the 7th church, and they're all tied together or something like that, in some kind of weird way, or like because at one point it says the 7th is also the 8th, right? Oh, it says it right here. 5 of them have already gone. One is here now. One is yet to come. I think the one that is here now is probably the one for the 5 months, but I could be wrong. It could be the one for the 1,260 days. And then it says, so 5 have already gone, one is yet to come. One's here, he must stay for a short while. Maybe that's the 5 months. The beast who once was and now is not is at the same time the 8th and one of the 7, and he is going to his destruction. So maybe it's the 5th one. It's some kind of. I think the first 4 are associated with the first 4 churches, and the Jezebel dying removes those characters. Um, maybe even the maybe even that includes the 5th one. You know, so it's something like this. I don't have to know exactly what it is in the moment, because that seems to be how a lot of this goes. Do I know exactly what's going on in the moment? No, I seem to get out unscathed and have won without knowing what I've done. That's the most cold-blooded I think of all of this. Is like, I mean, I'm accidentally stumbling into being the guy on the throne of Yahweh. That like that would be, if I was Yahweh, that would be exactly how I would clown you guys, because a lot of these people think that they have like huge egos around and being intelligent and being like knowing everything and doing everything like perfectly, and or being like this, that, or the other, or being super superb at something, and I'm just like, it, in the least to even me, it looks like I'm just stumbling through, and somehow by the grace of God, that's the only way, literally by the grace of Yahweh, am I like achieving just unbelievable victories that it's like not even believable to the people that it's happening to. It's believable to me. That's how it's happening, because I don't think they can beat my power to believe. But anyway, Okay, that's an hour and a half. I don't want to go any longer. So have a blessed one. You know, as I said, you mess with the bull, you get the horns. And it's, it's not devil horns. It's like literally bulls in the Old Testament. That's the alpha, right? And I'm definitely the last. I'm definitely the omega. So maybe I'm turning the alpha here. But you mess with the bull, you get the horns. And that whole missed call thing that going on with the Texans that I did today, where I'm like brought out how I'm pretty sure that it's all just theater and being used as like a magic like distraction device or something, because it's like I don't think this is even real sports at this point. If every call is being, if it's rigged and all this, it's just like, this is all bullshit. So anyway, I guess we'll see. Mess with the whole bull, you get the horns. Moo. Okay, anyway. Uh God bless one. I'll get you next time. That's it. Later. Yeah.